Test. Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. We're going to get started. Thanks so much for coming tonight. I also want to actually thank Jim Bear, who's our Senior Director of Data Science, sitting there, for supporting this event, as well as my manager, Shernaz Pavri, who's sitting at the back. Thank you guys so much for for making this happen tonight. Also want to thank facilities and people who helped me set up and bring this together, and also the rest of the design and web dev team that's here from LinkedIn to support. So thanks so much, guys. So today, I think it's great to see individuals who are passionate about a topic and then working together to create visualizations to help answer some questions. And so, as you all know, visualizing the BART strike is one of the pieces that I thought was super interesting and valuable because it affected a lot of us here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And tonight's presenters will be talking about, different topics such as ridership, salaries, proposals, and then the process that they went through to create these visualizations. The four speakers tonight are Ian, Victor, Lewis, and Shirley. Ian here, shout out to him. He and I work together, and he's a very good friend of mine, so I'm really excited to have him. Very talented guy. So also tonight, if you can refrain from recording, that would be great, because we do have somebody here who's helping us record, and I will post the video once we get it back from IT. So please help me welcome the speakers tonight, and hope you guys have a good time. And before I hand it over to Ian, I just want to mention also that they were actually shown in KQED, the Atlantic Cities, and also Policy Matter journals. So for four people who are just passionate about creating visualizations and just about their interests and about things that are happening around them, I think that was a great turnout and a good success for them. So please help me welcome Ian to the stage first.
So this is a story all about how the BART got shut down. Got in one little strike, and my mom got skipped. No. Okay. So I'm from the internet. I'm called Angelot. My name is Ian. We are part of the Bay Area D3 user group. I want to actually give a quick shout out to Kristen, who was instrumental in us starting this group. We learned a lot from this Bay Area data viz group when we did it, and we've been having a lot of fun since. So I do want to tell you a little bit of the story behind this project to give you context, and I'll talk a little bit about the process of how we got this started and some of the challenges we faced, and then I'll hand it off to the other speakers who will talk about their projects and what they did throughout here. So like many of you, I ride the BART every day to work. I actually live in the East Bay, so I was particularly affected when the first strike happened, and I was really shocked. I was, how can this happen? The transportation system that an entire, large geographical area depends on just stops. And, well, before I keep this going with this story, I want to thank a couple people. I want to thank the BART for, inspiring me to get up off my butt and, whip up some passionate people and use our skills to try to make a change and enter a political debate. So that was cool. I also want to thank you for coming out and listening to us talk, and hopefully, continuing the discussion with us. I think a lot of what we did was really just helping people talk about the issues going on. Like, we didn't solve the issues. We just tried to shine a little bit more light and make it easier to make the discussion go deeper. And so, thanks for coming out and caring. Thank you to LinkedIn for hosting us here. It's a really amazing space. Delicious food, and really excited to be here. And this is really important. I need to thank Bay Area Data and the team at Mercury News for putting together this public employee salary database in the Bay Area. Actually, in the process of doing this project, we kind of, just Googled stuff, pulled things from everywhere. When the strike happened, I had no idea that there was public salary data available, no idea, that there was a wealth of information out there. And so when we first put the project up, we didn't properly cite a lot of the things we did, and as it evolved, as we got out there, we did that. But I want to make sure to like really give them a shout out, because they manually compiled like thousands of Freedom of Information requests from all the different counties, cities. They're still trying to get pull teeth from certain public government officials who are claiming that this public information is like employee medical data or something. So if you have a second, tweet at Bay Area Data and thank them if if you were affected by these visualizations, if it helped you in some way. It takes people like that to make what we then did possible. So a little bit about the process that we went through. First, it was just kind of gather everything that we could find, right? A lot of Googling. I have some friends that are into data-driven journalism, or just kind of know that where you can get some public data. So the very first step was just kind of figure out what is out there. What can we possibly use to answer these questions that are starting to come up? Because as some of the other speakers will talk about, what the newspapers were saying about the strike left a lot to be desired, with what we wanted to know about the strike. So yeah, there was this Mercury News data set. We found old news articles where we actually could pull numbers out and try to plot some things. The BART themselves put out some data, like which jobs correspond to which unions, how much ridership they have, average, monthly. We also found out that they don't give out enough data. They have more data than they release, and that could be for practical budgetary reasons. You just can't afford to like build an API, or it could be because they don't want it out there. I'm not sure yet. But the point is we had to gather a lot, scavenge, put it together, and try to bring it in one place, because I started realizing as I was talking to friends that I could say, oh, I've been pulling all this data together, but then if they want to get involved, I want to be able to hand that off to them. So with that, I started realizing that more people, well, I knew a lot of people affected by this, and several of my friends are involved in data visualization and analytics, and then with the meetup, even more people interested in this stuff. It'd be really great to organize this data and make it accessible so that other people don't have to go through that pain of searching, finding, and understanding. Because even once you find the data, like with the salary data, it's encoded. There's like a legend. You have to look up what each field means. There's missing numbers. There's symbols in there. So if every person that wants to make a visualization has to go through the process of, not just understanding the data, but like finding it and really being able to use it, then we're going to waste a lot of energy that could be spent visualizing. Finally, we also had to spend some time processing the data. This is just some random code, doesn't matter. Like the BART provides the ridership data in Excel format, and we don't want to use Excel format. We want JSON or settle for a CSV. So you have to write some scripts to process the data. So doing this upfront also helped create a snowball effect where it wasn't just a couple people trying to work with this data. Once we've written a script and you can run it against any of the data, or you've processed some hard to use data into some nice to use data, it makes it a lot easier for other people to jump in and start having fun. So I want to make a quick note about, when we think about collaborating on code, sharing code, sending code to someone else to get help with, any kind of collaboration, code goes on GitHub, right? Or you could just say Git, let's say Git as a tool, but really if you want to share code, it's GitHub. But if you want to collaborate on data, what do you use, right? Well, we use GitHub. So, and it worked and it helped, I think, to like centralize and pull all this stuff together. But from these screenshots, if you look at this is a screenshot of the GitHub repo. I mean, I have BART stations.json, BART stations.csv, BART station key. Like, what does that mean? Who put it there? Does it link to any of the other files? Are some of them duplicates? There's really, this is not the tool that it's built for, right? So I don't know. There's probably a lot of smart entrepreneurial people in here, so I figured I'd use my 15 minutes to ask somebody to build this. So there you have it. So yeah, so I also just want to mention that, we, through the meetup, were able to organize a couple of events to bring people together to hack on this. So we had the data together, and I know I had some questions that I cared about, but then talking to friends and other people in the meetup, they had different questions, and so it was really cool to have everyone come together. Our first meetup, I'll let Louis talk a little bit more about it, but we had 25-some people. People put up their ideas on the board, divided into areas of interest, and we ended up talking a lot about the cause and effect of the strike. Also, I want to mention that even though we prepared a lot of the data before the meetup started, throughout we had a couple of events actually, and then people kept working on it independently. We had some 10, 12 pull requests to the GitHub repo, just modifying data in the couple of days that those events went on. And yeah, so it was just a lot of fun to get together and work on that. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Louis to talk more.